Minnesota Vikings offense nearly lost them the game against the Indianapolis Colts, despite a great performance from the defense. What happened and how did they fix it to be able to get the win on Sunday Night Football? Minnesota Vikings beat the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 21-13 on Sunday night, but it didn't come easy. They were down 7-0 going into halftime and were able to finally get in the end zone 3 times in the second half to pull out the win. But it wasn't an easy route. In the first half alone, Will Reichard missed a 53-yard field goal, missed a 31-yard field goal, and Sam Darnold threw a debilitating interception in the red zone. The Vikings had 193 yards on offense, but they could not get a point on the board. And then to top it all off, Darnold got strip sacked by Grover Stewart when he got hit in the face mask, which should have been a penalty. And Kenny Moore picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown. Not exactly what you call a great start. They were inconsistent in almost every phase. A lot of that had to do with the offensive line. Garrett Bradbury and Blake Brandel had atrocious games. It was Blake Brandel's worst game as a pro, and Bradbury looked like he reverted back to 2020 when he was getting forklifted by any defensive tackle with a pulse. So how did they fix it? Simple. They did not let the execution issues of the first half mar them in the second. Sam Darnold had plenty of issues tonight. He was running into sacks, holding the ball too long, which part of it's by design. That can't be forgotten here. Kevin O'Connell wants to throw the ball down the field, and they have the 8th best pass block win rate, according to ESPN, which measures blocks of 2.5 seconds or longer, going into week 9. But the biggest thing here was they were able to overcome some of those interior issues. They were able to do some slides, and they were able to bring in guys for extra protection. There was one play where at the beginning of that final drive, when they got that touchdown to Josh Oliver, CJ Ham was the fullback. And he just straight up helps block in the interior to prevent those guys from being able to get penetration. They made the proper adjustments, and they were able to execute properly. And when Sam Darnold had time in the pocket, they made them pay with over 400 yards of total offense. And Justin Jefferson, once again, proves he's the best player in the National Football League. 7 catches, 137 yards, and 8 targets. And the only target where he did not have a completed catch was where Nick Cross was essentially the robber in the hook zone and intercepted Sam Darnold. Darnold didn't see him, and he needs to fix that. But it's those inconsistencies that are preventing this team from truly becoming a great team, because the defense was phenomenal tonight. They forced multiple turnovers. They did not allow a single snap, not one snap, inside the red zone. The offensive line needs to kind of figure their stuff out. And it wasn't Ed Ingram. Ingram was very solid tonight. Brian O'Neill, solid. Cam Robinson, pretty good for a debut considering he got here 5 days ago. But the execution on how Kevin O'Connell is calling these plays, the execution from Sam Darnold, seeing the field and making proper decisions and not being willing enough to take the check down. Look, we want to push the ball down the field. Vikings have the number 1 dropback EPA in the National Football League when it comes to neutral game script situations. But it's okay to take 5 yards. It's okay to not put the ball in danger. It's okay. And Darnold has not quite figured that out yet. How much of that is on O'Connell? How much of that is O'Connell wanting to continue to push down the field? And Darnold is essentially has the same mantra, and they're synchronized. But that sack that he took on that 3rd and 10, just inside the Colts 50, you got to be able to check that down to Akers on a hot route because they blitzed. And Will Reichard's hurt. He had a quad injury. It's probably 4 down territory anyways. Now you're sitting at like 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and it's an easy play. The Vikings need to figure this out. They need to be more consistent. That's going to be their biggest downfall because they have the talent. TJ Hawkinson came back, and he wasn't great. First game back, got a little bit of the rust off, got a couple of hits, got a couple of passes. Let me tell you, it was pretty good. You got to see some really good stuff from this team. You got to see this team really grow and develop. You got to see them come back from adversity, down 7 at halftime, losing the turnover battle, and they still found a way to win the game. That's going to come in huge over the next few weeks as they continue to face their 3-game gauntlet of the AFC South, and they go 3 on the road at Jacksonville, at Tennessee, and at Chicago before they got 3 at home. I'm Tyler Forness with A to Z Sports. Skol Vikings.